Les Paul, why is it so important to honor him?
Well, to me, he's so much. He's, first of all, the reason I have a job. He's the father of the electric guitar. He's the father of multi-track recording. Obviously, none of us would be doing what we're doing without those achievements. And to me, he's just a dear, dear friend. Like, you know, more than that. I mean, every time that we're together, and we're together pretty often, you know, it's always for hours, and it's always these amazing conversations. Last night I sat with him for 2 hours up in his room. He called me up, and we were there like half the night. And, you know, it's just like that with him and I. So he's a lot of things to me.
Thinking about tonight and the performance, I mean, what's it going to be like to be on stage with all these great guitarists?
Man, you know, it's kind of cool because it's like everybody kind of thinks, I think, that all these guys, and we always see each other. You know, and that's completely the opposite. So it's always really exciting to get together with a bunch of contemporaries and people that are your peers, because we really never see each other. We rarely run into each other because everybody, especially in the music business today, is trying to get a leg up, you know? So everybody's going in completely different directions. So it's always great to do that. You know, it's going to be a lot of fun. But, you know, also when you have like, you know, 20 great guitar players on stage, everybody's going to be going like, when do I get my chance to do something like that? You know what I mean? So I think it'll be, might I say, extremely polite. Everybody will be giving everyone their due. But I imagine it's all about Les tonight. I mean, who cares about him? This is about him.
I want to shift to the Rock Hall now. The Rock Hall, their mission is obviously to honor and recognize the people who made the business what it is today.
Mm-hmm.
You also want to educate the masses, people, about music, rock and roll as an art form.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about viewing rock and roll as an art form.
Well, obviously, I mean, you know, music is a form of art. I always looked at it as sound painting, emotional painting. You know, just like a painter paints what's in his heart, well, we paint with music. So it truly is art. And then what happens that I have the privilege of becoming the soundtrack to people's lives. Just as some of the guys on the stage and some of my heroes and some of the bands that I listened to growing up, and the Beatles and Bob Dylan, you know, and Rolling Stones and Led Zeppelin, and I mean, countless bands. I was a music head, still am, have accompanied me through my life and my hardships and my good times and my bad times. And I have, you know, the distinct pleasure and also opportunity to be that to other people too. So it is an art form. It radiates in so many different ways.
And part of the Rock Hall's efforts are education outreach programs like what they're doing tonight with American Masters. Can you talk about the importance of educating listeners and music fans about where rock started, where it began?
Oh man, I mean, I went to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame today. I had an amazing time. I got to touch Jimi Hendrix's guitar. Nobody else gets to do that, but I got special dispensation. But I really enjoyed going around and looking at the handwritten lyrics of John Lennon and Bob Dylan and you know, so many different artists. I mean, it really gives you an insight. There were certain letters that I read, like from Jim Morrison's father to the media and things like that, that were just so informative over there. If you really take the time to actually go and take a look at things, you're going to find out some really cool stuff. Like, that was the guitar that this particular guy played on this particular session and all that kind of stuff. And so there's so much knowledge there, you know.
My last question, then I'll turn it over, but when you first picked up that guitar, did you have any earthly idea this would lead you music to be your life?
I had written a song a few years back. I started to write a song called Great Hall of Fame. And the Great Hall of Fame is about all the musicians that didn't make it, and about how their dreams, you know, they perpetuated their gigs in bars, but in their mind, they were taking bows in the Great Hall of Fame. And I thought it was appropriate because of the Hall of Fame and everything that was going on here, you know what I mean? And it's quite a country song. It's not a rock and roll song. You'll see tonight when I play it. But Les asked me if I would put it on this record. And so I finished it, and I did, and so I figured it would be appropriate to play this evening. And I'm also going to do one of their live. Got to give the fans something they know, you know.
All right, thanks.
You're welcome.
This last set of questions is for RollingStone.com.
Cool.
My questions won't be on the camera, so if you can try to incorporate my question into your answer.
You got it. Can I have that real quick before we start? Take a little mind maker here for a second.
So
Thank you,
You
Doc.
are playing Wanted tonight?
Yeah,
Nice. And you'll be singing that as well?
I'll be singing everything. People don't know I can sing yet. I think it'd be code. It's unbelievable.
Tell us about your first Les Paul.
My first Les Paul, I'll never forget it. First of all, I had a fake one. I had a Univox Les Paul because I couldn't afford a real one. And my first Les Paul, I remember I went to work as a janitor in a hospital. And it was wild because I worked in the blood bank and all these people were throwing up blood and I had to wash everything. I was a janitor and I worked there for 6 weeks and I finally made enough money, like $500 to buy my first Les Paul. And I went down to a place called Lou Rose Music in Edison, New Jersey and got them to sell me my first Les Paul. And I had it from the time I was 17 all the way till I was 23. I was in Bon Jovi already. And we were rehearsing and we didn't have a lot of money, so we were rehearsing in a pretty bad part of town in Perth Amboy, New Jersey, and it got stolen. What a bummer. But I was using it the whole time. So it was my first professional guitar. I played it in clubs, I played it on a concert stage. You know, it's well documented.
What made you want a Les Paul?
Geez, all my heroes were playing them, you know. Jimmy Page and Jeff Beck and let's see, who else? I mean, God, everybody played a Les Paul. All guys in the Allman Brothers, Dickie Betts. And, you know, I just thought it was the most powerful guitar, and it's just sexy, man. You know, I think it's got the most output. I think of when you plug it into a good amplifier, you're going to get more output than you get from, say, a Stratocaster or something like that. And I'm not down on that either, because that has its own character, and I play a lot of Strats too. But I must say, when I pick up my '59 Les Paul, it's pretty special.
Is there one of your songs that you think has the most Les Paul presence on it?
Geez, I mean, I played Les Paul on so many tracks all over the Bon Jovi records, and all over, you know, sessions and stuff that I've done. So I mean, that's my staple. When I go to a session, my '59 comes with me. I'm lucky enough to have two of them, and one of them comes out on the road with me, and one actually stays home and goes just to sessions.
And as a blues guy, I mean, what do you think a Les Paul lends to that part of your?
Oh, because you know, when you know, put that rhythm pickup in and then clean it up, there's so much dexterity within the Les Paul. It has so many different sounds to it. If you obviously listen to guys like Jimmy Page and the different textures that he has created and the tapestries that he's created with a Les Paul, it's just insane, you know. So I mean, you know, obviously you have to. As a musician, I feel like we're just passing it on, right? So my heroes gave it to me, and I'm passing it on to the new guys and the new kids. It's really fun when people go, I had your poster on my wall, man, and you really changed a lot of my life, and this and that. When kids tell you that, and you know, that's a great feeling. And I guess I'm about that age right now, and that's starting to happen lots.
Who are some of those young kids? I mean, who do you think are some of the?
There's, you know, some of the guys in the bands like Daughtry and, you know, My Chemical Romance and, you know, a lot of different bands, you know, that say that, you know, we've influenced them. Also as songwriters and things like that. So there's a lot of, you know, and then just people on the street, you know, just everybody, you know, people come up on the street and they'll say to you, you know, that was my wedding song, or, you know, Living on a Prayer was the song that got me through this really bad period of time, or I'll Be There For You got me through a relationship. I know I got, like with me, I used to listen to Clapton, you know, because he was like Derek and the Dominoes. That's what came out like right when I was in high school, and I remember, you know, that was like my relationship song.
Just a couple last questions.
Actually, last question.
Last one?
It's all cool, man.
What does it mean to you to be playing a Rock Hall event?
Pardon?
What does it mean to you to be playing a Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
Coming of age, you know. It's one of those things. I mean, I've done a bunch of these things, but like recently, you know, I've been getting, I mean, I've played with Les countless amount of times, and guys like Lonnie Mack. First time I played with Lonnie was 20 years ago. I mean, so there's a lot, I think that there's a, you know, when I play in Bon Jovi, it's kind of, you know, I was talking to this about Scott today. It's such a song-driven band. It's not a jam band, so I don't really have a chance to actually work out a lot as far as that kind of stuff goes. So unless you come see the band live, which then I have an ample stage to do that. On record, it's more song-driven, and I'm more of a session guy, so I'm on the inside. But when I play live, it's more of a jam situation. So, but anyway, being here, obviously, it's like being included with a bunch of great guys. So it's an honor.
And do you have any advice for any up-and-coming young musicians?
Yeah, listening habits, man. Listen to great guitar players. Emulate your heroes and make your own style. If I didn't listen to Jimi Hendrix and Jeff Beck and all those guys, I wouldn't be the player I am. It's all about taking those pieces. I remember when I first heard Jimi Hendrix, I was like, what? What is that? But it was the emotional part of what he put into the guitar that made it special. I mean, when you saw Stevie Ray Vaughan, he was unconscious. It was the emotional input that's the real thing. So that's my advice. Have a good time, be a lead player. There was a time where there wasn't a lot of people playing lead solos, and I'm going, that's the sex part. You don't want to have sex. That's really the sexy part, is playing lead solos, man, and like having your body be, and kind of leaving your body and letting your fingers just go, and your heart go through your fingers. That's the thing. When you get to that point when you're a guitar player, where you're not up there thinking anymore about what you're playing, you're just doing it. That's when you know that you've crossed that line into, when you can do that in front of people and lose yourself, and then all of a sudden you close your eyes and you have everybody's attention, you're doing a good job.
Thank you.
Welcome.